Hey all. So I am taking a class right now, Introduction to Entrepreneurship. I am taking some classes to pursue my bachelor degree, and I ended up switching majors when I went into real estate. And I'm taking such awesome classes. I have to share some of them. This particular one is deconstructing your fears. Oftentimes, when people go into a new profession, they have these fears pop up. And what if they fail? What if what's the worst case scenario? So it's actually kind of fun that I'm coming up with this lesson right now because I was thinking you can do it with home buying process. I actually have some clients right now, and me myself have been through this experience before, but through the crash and the bubble, we lost our house. And not only one, but two, we had a rental house as well. And I was going through a divorce and we couldn't sell them. The market was lousy. The banks didn't really work with us. So anyone who's been through that, for me, I was a little bit timid getting back into being a homeowner again because of losing my house before. And I have some clients right now who I'm currently working with who feel fearful that maybe, they put in an offer and then they're like, oh no, is it going to get accepted? Is it not? One, if it gets accepted, then all these fears come up as far as like, is this the right house? Is this the right neighborhood? Is this the house that we want to be in? What if we lose our butts in this house again? Or what if the market crashes? And all of these fears. So one of the exercises that we can do not only in life in general, but in the home buying process too, is to deconstruct our fears. And what this exercise is saying to do is to have a 4-column list, and I'm looking at it, so sorry. But so here's the things that we need to do. Describe the worst thing that could possibly happen if you took that particular action. In this case, if you bought this house, what if you hate the neighborhood and want to sell? What's the worst case scenario? And write all the worst case scenarios. And then after that, now start filling in another column, listing at least 4 fears and however irrational they may be. What if you hate your neighbor? What if the roof starts leaking? What if I don't even know what they are. But I had fears buying my house for sure. So I think when you're younger and you're a first-time home buyer, you don't even know what you're getting into, and it's not as challenging as when you've been through some processes and have kind of been burned before. But the next thing is in the far right column, make a list of how you could, third column. In the chart, second column, detail your risk mitigation strategy for each fear. What happens if you buy a house and you don't like it? Then you can mitigate. What if your neighbors don't like it? What if it's not as nice as maybe the house that you were living in? And what kind of things are you fearful about, and what happens? What's your strategy to mitigate that? Now in the far right column, make a list of how you can claw your way back to the status quo should the worst case scenario happen. So like here, I guess I'll give you an example. This is an entrepreneurial position, but you can relate it to house buying, right? Say you're leaving your current stable employment as an engineer. I left my current stable employment after 16 years. And my real dream is to go into real estate, to be my own boss, to do something different. Well, there comes with some fear in that, right? What if you're a home buyer, you're renting, and ultimately, or you want to buy a home or own a home? Anyway, you could lose your butt, and anyone who's been through failures knows that you kind of make your way back. I say this, knock on wood. Hopefully, if I fail, I'll make my way back. But anyway, I'm going to post this sheet, your fear, deconstructing your fears, and your strategy to mitigate that fear, and your way back to the status quo. But I like this example that they actually had. Okay. So you make a change. You go into your lifelong dream of worst case that could happen in those 2 years. You could spend your cash reserves to support your family. Your father-in-law disowns you and your spouse for engaging in such an insane speculative venture. Your miserable failure at online marketing and your mentor fires you. The FCC changes the rules on affiliate marketing and you end up wasting 2 years of your life. Well, then how do you deconstruct that? Pick your fears and act on. Chances are none of these things that terrify you will actually take place, but why take the chance? Then what can you do to keep these things from happening? Write a strategy. For example, consider your fear about your father-in-law's reaction to your new career. To mitigate the risk, your strategy could be to have a forthright conversation with him where you lay out your business and personal case for making this move and ask him for his advice and support. Or consider your misgivings about the FCC might do. Another one that I liked is if your affiliate marketing job fell flat and your worst case scenario happened, you could likely lick your wounds and return to an engineering job, or perhaps the ones you want. So you could always, foreclose on a house. I'm not recommending that, but you could, and go back to renting if you hate your house. I mean, no one wants to do that, right? No one wants to lose their butt on any of these things. But I just really like this idea of deconstructing your fears, because what it's saying is half the time they might not happen. And when you put your fears into the light, they oftentimes lose their power. So whether you're buying a home and have fear of that, whether you're changing professions and doing that, whether you're, I don't know what else you want to do that's fearful, do it. Deconstruct your fears, and chances are when the worst case scenario happens, you'll be okay. In life, actually, when I have not deconstructed my fears, oftentimes the worst case scenario did happen, and I've made it out pretty okay. So anyway, food for thought. I hope it was helpful, and I might share some more tips from school later on.